I came face to face with His Excellency the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, Dr. William Samoei Arap Ruto, who was in the company of Honorable Aden Duale, Majority Leader of the National Assembly.
So that is Alfred Mutua. Time yenye alikuwa anasema Ruto alimfinya mkono, akali ai. Time yenye Ruto alimfinya mkono, akaenda kufile police report for threat of his life. But leo, Alfred Mutua, Mr. Cobra Squad, we are on your case on the fake jobs, hizo za Dubai and other crap. But before tuanze video mambo na hizo fake jobs na hizo terrible idea ya kupeleka our girls wakuwe mamboch wanarudi kwa masanduku Kenya, let's look at how you are dealing with Ruto, your future boss, time yenye alikufinya mkono. Okay, tuendelee tusikie what you were saying time yenye ulikuwa umetetemeka. Tetemeka kweli kweli.
I greeted His Excellency Dr. Ruto and I extended my hand. Me, hello Your Excellency. Ruto, holding on to my hand. We jamaa umekuwa ukinichapa sana. Me, Your Excellency. Ruto, still holding on to my hand tightly. Wewe lazima sasa nikugonge. Nitakugonga. Me, Your Excellency. Sir, maybe we can speak about... I started. Ruto pushing me aside. We ngoja utaona. Duale pointing at my chest. Si tulikuambia. Then they walked away. I was petrified not only by the life-threatening words uttered by Dr. William Ruto, but by the intensity of his eyes and angry tone of voice. I turned back to where Right Honorable Raila Odinga was, and I told him what had transpired, not far from where he was standing. I also mentioned these threats to 4 other senior government officials during the event. I have been quite disturbed by these threats to my life and that of my family, and do believe that Dr. William Ruto is serious and capable of carrying out his threat to my life and general welfare.
Okay, so that time he was so terrified. Alikuwa anatetemeka kweli kweli kwa kona. Anamwaga jasho inateremka akitetemeka. Vile Ruto is a terrible man. Ruto is he's threatening his life. Anatetemeka hapo kwa police station. And then he goes and work to the same Ruto, for the same Ruto huyo who was threatening his hand. Ruto alishikilia vile unashikilianga chapo. Alishikilia na nguvu kiasi. And then he got scared. But wacha tusikie Ruto alisemanga nini, because hizi ni stories za ujinga zilikuwa zinafanyika before akuwe CS. I'm trying to establish ile idea ya kupeleka wa Kenya abroad, but create jobs Kenya zilitoka wapi. Najaribu kuangalia kama ilitoka kwa akili ya Alfred Mutua ama ilitoka kwa akili ya Ruto. So in that same premise, I'm gonna listen to him, alafu nisikie Ruto alisema nini kuhusu hii kufinywa mkono.
Nimesalimiana na jamaa mwingine hapo. Amenishika mkono. Karibu ikue kama ile ya Mutua. Unajua ule jamaa mwingine mulisikia alilalamika juzi. Ati nilimsalimia. Ati nilimfanya nini? Sasa kama angesalimiana na huyu jamaa amemsukuma bote hapa. Ati nimemsalimia tu hivi. Ati huyu mtu ameenda akakimbia kunistaki kwa polisi. Kama angesalimiana na ule mtu amekuwa akikoroka bote hapa, si angekimbia Hague.
Aya, so that was Ruto's response. Time yenye Ruto alikuwa bado on the good side ya Wakenya. Alikuwa anasema Mutua alikuwa na soft hands yenye imewekwa lotion, amepaka lotion mingi sana. Sijui ni lotion ama ni Aramis alipaka kwa mkono. So the hand was so soft yenye iko inawezekana na hiyo mfuga kuku mwenyewe Ruto. But now, speaking of threats, wacha tuone another woman who was also feeling threatened by Mutua himself.
He arrogantly said that he is a very important person in this country, very powerful, and he will and can get away with anything and everything he has planned to do to me and those close to me. He added that his social media machinery is ready and waiting to finish me. I put that in bold, finish me and my friends completely. On October 7th, 2021, I filed a case in the High Court of Milimani, Nairobi, for a restraining order because I believe my life and those around me are in danger.
Okay, so huyo ni former wife ama ni girlfriend, sijui alikuwa ni nani wa Mutua. Yeye pia alikuwa threatened. Yeye haikuwa ni mambo na handshake hiyo ya kina Ruto. Yeye alikuwa threatened na Mutua. Mutua anamwambia I can get away with anything. So that made me question, can Mutua get away with anything? Because saizi Mutua anafanya hizi mambo za kupeleka wa Kenya to these Arab countries, kuwapeleka Dubai, kupeleka kukua mamboch, some other ridiculous, stupid things. Umwaisikia government gani in what world una export your labor, you are exporting your people? In what world unaamka asubuhi, mzee mzima unaamka, unaoga, unavaa socks, alafu unaenda kwa ofisi and you come up with an idea instead of kutengeneza jobs hapa Kenya. You think that let me send these people to Dubai, to all these Arab countries where wakifika huko wananyang'anywa passport, wanakuwa abused, wanafanywa mateso zingine hauwezi amini. So many of our girls wanarudi kwa sanduku because of you, Alfred Mutua. That is what you are thinking of. Akili ilienda wapi? Alfred Mutua, hauna shame.
Shame. Shame. Shame. Shame.
The actual clip, tumemaliza hizo udaku za handshake and everything. Wacha tuanze the actual video.
Job seekers who are successful in the government's Kazi Majuu initiative recruitment drive now say that they were swindled by the Ministry of Labour, saying that despite having provisional job offer letters, they are still in the country waiting to travel to Gulf countries for the promised jobs more than 6 months later. Emmanuel Toh reports that the distraught job seekers want the jobs or the money they paid out to be the recruitment agencies.
Okay, so Alfred Mutua used to be a government spokesman. When he was in government spokesman, alikuwa anasema najivunia kuwa Mkenya. Sijui kama mwaisikia hiyo statement, najivunia kuwa Mkenya. That statement ilianzanga kwa hizo ofisi za Alfred Mutua. Hiyo statement ilichange from najivunia kuwa Mkenya to navumilia kuwa Mkenya. And then now I think naumia kuwa Mkenya, to the point that the same person mwenye walianzisha hizo statements za najivunia kuwa Mkenya anapeleka wa Kenya abroad. Anawapeleka sijui 2,000, sijui how many people. Akili ili disappear. Even though he's super educated, he has like a PhD, ameishi so many countries, ameishi America, ameishi Australia. In fact, people were saying Kibaki alimtafutanga. Kibaki mwenyewe alimtafuta personally, alimtafuta kumrecruit so that he works for the Kibaki government as a government spokesman. He akona akili because there was a time that he was being ranked one of the best governors in Kenya kwa kazi alifanya Machakos. But now, out of nowhere, imechange from najivunia kuwa Mkenya to telling Kenyans, wewe panda ndege, enda Dubai, enda ufanyiwe sijui nini huko Dubai, ukuwe mboch, ufanye hizi kazi zingine zenye he himself haizi peleka watoto wake. Alfred Mutua, can your child do the jobs unapatia wa Kenya? Let me just ask you that honestly. Unaweza peleka one of your kids when you, I think wako Australia saizi, uambie wewe enda Dubai, ufanye hii job ya kuwa mboch, ufanye hii jobs sijui gani. Hizo the same fucking jobs zenye unapatia wa Kenya. But tuone clip. Anaona napanda pressure already, but bado hata clip sijacheza.
They queued for long hours at the Kenyatta International Convention Center and at the Kabete Polytechnic, withstanding the scorching sun during the government's much-hyped Kazi Majuu initiative last year. The successful ones hoping that their search for greener pastures and a promised land was finally over. They were wrong. 6 months later, all they have are provisional job offer letters from the government. Monday, a section of the group was in parliament lamenting the delay despite paying money to process their departure.
Tulipofika hapa Kabete tuliambiwa lazima tulipie medical fee around 15,000.
Some like Robert Orioki, a driver from Bobasi constituency, Kisii County, were left counting losses after promises to travel to one of the Gulf countries by the end of last year failed to materialize.
Hata kutuliambiwa hiyo wakati tuliambiwa hata Christmas hatutakula hapa. Nikasema, sasa baada ya kulipa hiyo pesa tukaongoja Christmas tukakula hapa. Nikasema tena tumekula hapa, wacha tungoje tarehe moja.
Their efforts to get a word from the recruitment agencies under the National Employment Authority in the Ministry of Labour proved futile.
I mean, can you just look at this? Look at this. Only desperation in Kenya. Hakuna jobs anywhere. There are no jobs. You must know someone to get a job. And then even in the process, watu wako desperate, wako willing kwenda Dubai, Saudi Arabia, these terrible countries they treat black skin Africans like trash. That is the truth. How many Kenyans, how many Africans wameuliwa Dubai, wameuliwa hizo countries za Waarabu. And Kenyans, despite knowing all these dangers, they are still lining up for hours ndio waende hizi countries. And then after lining up, mtu anakuja na kukon like it's ridiculous. And a whole CS na president in their brain wanakaa akili mbili zina shikana hivi friction, alafu hizo akili zina decide, you know what, I think instead of kutengeneza majob hapa Kenya, wacha tupeleke watu wateswe huko like slaves. Wacha tupeleke watu kwa hizo countries za Waarabu where they are seen less than human, ndio wafanye kazi. Like, is this a fucking joke? Is this a joke, Mr. Mutua? Nimekuuliza once, wacha nirudie hiyo swali tena. Mr. Mutua, can you take your kids, uambie watoi wako, I don't know if they are adults now or they are still kids, uambie wewe enda ufanye kazi hizo jobs zenye unapeana? Would you let one of your kids do it? If the answer is no, then why the fuck are you bringing these stupid ideas to us? You had the najivunia kwa Mkenya. Saizi you are telling people to leave Kenya. Like, where is the logic there? Like, these people are ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Ebu tuendelee na clip.
They tell you, madam is to be there, that process. Ukiwauliza, where is the madam? They don't know where madam is.
And when it got out of hand, they say, some of the agencies began refunding the monies to them, some who had paid as high as 55,000 shillings each for the services, saying not all the money was returned.
Nikawauliza kwa nini wamenirudishia 37,000 of which hakuna process yenye walinifanyia yenye ilikuwa iko included among the 55,000.
They now want the government to refund their money in total or give them the jobs as promised.
Kama haikuwa kazi ya ukweli, watu waweze naweza omba tu hii committee tuweze kurudishiwa pesa yetu yote.
The Senate Labour Committee is saying it will summon the Labour CS to provide answers on the issues raised by the victims.
Okay, so hiyo mmeona ni watu wanakoniwa. Wale watu wenye wame start the process, they are being conned. Alfred Mutua anasema, you should do your own research. It's other people wanafanya hizi conning and everything. But that's not all. That is not all. In fact, after offering us shoddy, terrible jobs, hizi za kwenda Dubai kuwa mboch and other myopic thinking stuff zenye hii Kenya Kwanza government is doing, recently Mutua amekuwa accused of also being biased. On top of that, anapeleka hizo jobs to his people in tuone tu clip. The clip will say it for itself.
Controversy surrounding the recruitment of Kenyans seeking overseas jobs continues to mount. This time, MPs challenging Labour CS Alfred Mutua on the integrity of the process. Appearing before the Parliamentary Committee on Diaspora Affairs and Migrant Workers, Mutua was pressed to explain why a national exercise that took place in 6 counties between November and December 2024 was majorly concentrated in his home turf of Machakos, Makueni and Kitui.
Okay, so on top of giving us terrible ideas kupeleka wa Kenya, those Arab countries, because Waarabu, they do not see Kenyans as humans. They do not see black Africans as humans. In case you don't know what I need to break here news, this is breaking news. Breaking news, CNN. Waarabu do not see black Africans as humans. Kama skin yako ni nyeusi, you are less than human. So wewe ukiamua kukanyaga hizo country zao, hizo Dubai, hizo Saudi Arabia and others, you are risking your own existence. That is the truth. So gava inakuja na kuambia haya tutakupeleka hiyo country, and then on top of that, this guy who's in charge is being allegedly anapeleka jobs zote anazipeleka kwa his own counties. So on top of giving you a terrible deal, he's giving the terrible deal specifically to his people. Enye akili ya Afrika tulilaaniwa na tulirogwa na I don't know what the hell happened, but tuendelee.
I don't know what criteria we are using to identify the registration centers and the recruitment centers. Because Waziri, I'm afraid to say, I'm looking at the counties that you've mentioned: Machakos, Kitui, Makueni. Basically, that's where you're coming from, Waziri.
This number is so big. You are taking from one or a few counties that speak the same native language. The Kenyans are worried about that.
In his defense, CS Mutua dismissed claims of regional bias and pledged to provide data showing the actual distribution of job offers.
And there are other areas where more people have been recruited than even Machakos, Makueni, and Kitui. And so I do not understand why, or the document that you have and the data that you have and the comprehensiveness, and I'm willing to provide this committee the full data.
The session.
Alfred Mutua, Cobra Squad, Mr. Cobra Squad. Mr. Cobra Squad, you are here allegedly being tribalistic, ukipeleka jobs, Makueni and other places around your county, and on top of that, what manze wa Kenyan leadership is disappointing. It's beyond disappointing, because Cobra Squad ako hapa anaambia wa Kenya mjivunie kwa wa Kenya, and then on top of that anawaambia endeni mfanye kazi mkuwe mamboch, and then saizo at the same time watoi wake wako Australia, his family, like nyinyi mteseke huko, mkuwe mamboch, mpigwe, mteswe na Waarabu, but my family is good because the guy is worth, like, I don't know, kumbuka kwa hizo kwa parliament time yenye alikuwa anataka kuwa CS first time, he was saying he was worth 400 million Kenyan shillings, 400 million Kenyan shillings, and that was like 2 years ago, over 2 years ago, worth of 400 million shillings. That's like $4 million. Alafu, by now I'm sure he has doubled his net worth, and akili yao yeye na Ruto, let me credit Ruto pia, juu hizi zote haziwezi fanyika bila Ruto. Akili ya Ruto na B, criminal, thief, murderer, na B ni kumwambia peleka wa Kenya, wapeleke Qatar, wapeleke Saudi Arabia, wapeleke these other terrible countries zenye watateswa, watauliwa. Once wamefika huko, it's on them. What type of government is this? Hey, manze.
also turned to the rise of fraudulent recruitment agencies, with MPs accusing the ministry of failing to adequately inform Kenyans about legitimate job channels.
You've said we have legit agents. Have you, even as a ministry, gone out there and made noise and said, if you are not getting employment from these accredited agencies, then we are not part of it?
The responsibility is also on the Kenyan to ensure that you do due diligence.
Like what? Enyewe, what type enyewe? Hata I'm speechless. Nilikuwa nataka kucomment hapo but sitaki Subaru zinikujie, so tuendelee.
Kama mtu anakuzia shamba, unaangalia kama hiyo shamba, hiyo title deed ni fake ama ni ukweli. And if you get a fake title deed, you don't blame the government. You also have to blame yourself.
The committee now wants a detailed list of vetted agencies and a public awareness campaign to shield job seekers from exploitation.
Yeah, I don't know why you like being a lone ranger. You've decided not to just work with people, most of this committee. I didn't expect that from you. These are people who can support you so much in some of these things.
Out of 6,385 Kenyans who turned up for the recruitment last November and December, only 925 received provisional job offers. Some applicants say they were conned by bogus agents.
Can you believe that? 6,000 turned up, 900 got provisional offers, and then wengine wamekoniwa. Like, those are hundreds of people conned, and then Alfred Mutua, instead of taking responsibility like an adult, anakwambia nyinyi pia, it's your fault, mmekoniwa. Like, this is petty, this is stupid. Ndio maana huwa na enjoy akinyoroshwa na ule Oruoba. In fact, wacha tuone Oruoba akimnyorosha kiasi before we continue.
The company is the same, the individual is the same, but the cabinet secretary is trying to come to this committee to tell us that, okay, maybe if you're talking about the Festus with an IA, that one we don't know. But us, we know the Festus with the WA. Chair, at the end of this inquiry, because I've seen Mr. Festus, I've seen his photos out there, it is the same Festus. And it is the same company that is conning people. And they are still licensed. So I want to ask this question to the cabinet secretary and to the Director General of National Employment Authority. Because it's no longer a game. We are playing with Kenyans' lives. It's not about a game of WA or IA. It is about people getting conned, people committing suicide. It's about families being broken.
Okay.
And you cannot come here to tell us that the Festus you're referring to is an IA and our Festus is a WA. It doesn't matter because at the police station, his fingerprints are taken and his fingerprints are the same.
Very true, Miss Oruoba. Oruoba, even though wanachapa clown makeup, wanachapa yo Pennywise makeup. Yeye wananyorosha Alfred Mutua any chance she gets because she knows what's happening. People are getting conned. Watu wanadedi wakifika huko hizo Arab countries, and Mutua ako hapo tu like it's nothing. Yeye ako sawa, ameshiba, his life is good, but nyinyi wa Kenya, nyinyi endeni mteseke kama madogi huko Saudi Arabia instead of creating jobs hapa Kenya. Like ni nini mbaya na watu? For real. Ni nini mbaya na watu? In fact, Oruoba, ebu mnyoroshe tena a little.
Me, the people who have been conned from my constituency are 90 by Alfred Mutua. Now ni 92 wa constituency yangu. And you know, Alfred Mutua actually worked with more than 20 elected leaders. So if mine are 90, let's even say an average. 90 times 20 of those elected leaders who are trying to help their people.
Ngoja umesema conned.
Yeah, conned. Pesa. Zile mavitu za labor exports, zile makazi fake.
Alfred Mutua.
Si ndo anasimamia hizo vitu za ministry nao ma-agent wakoko.
Unasikia Oruoba anasema watu kwa constituency yake ni 90 wamekuwa conned. Many others have been conned, but Alfred Mutua is just there. He's just there. Yeye anaendelea tu na hizi recruitment zake kupeleka watu And he knows what's happening. Watu wanarudi kwa masanduku, watu wanateswa, watu wanafanyiwa terrible things in these countries. But instead of creating jobs hapo Kenya, wanafikiria this brilliant idea wa export the labor force. I don't know what country in the world wa inafikiria hivyo. Instead of creating jobs, exporting jobs. That is very stupid thinking ya kina Alfred Mutua na hii Kenya kuisha government. William Ruto should be one time. He should be sent away, sent home, arudi Sugoi after serving years in committee prison. But tuone Alfred Mutua, his origin stories. Because aliteseka, he was a poor kid aliteseka, growing up. He should be understanding Kenyans' life, like a typical Kenyan life, so that he does the right thing. He was once the most, favorite governor wa kila mtu. But then he goes and does ridiculous things like this. So tuone tu history ya Alfred Mutua, and I want him to use the same advice yenye alikuwa anapatia watoi. Let's just watch this last clip.
But Dr. Alfred Mutua's life was never so rosy during his formative years. The journey into his childhood leading us to Chaitha Primary School, where he attended nursery school.
Where I'm seated right now is actually where I did my nursery school. So basically my introduction was A, E, I, O, U. Bambe mbimbo mbu, unajua kamba saying bambe mbimbo mbu.
The nostalgia that floods back with a return to one's roots, exposing the young boy in him who had great dreams and a happy childhood despite his humble background.
Ebu ona yo class. Yo class ni complete poverty. Ni kama vile unaonanga kwa hizo documentaries wazungu wanafanyanga poverty in Africa. Wanaonyeshanga class kama hizo. And that's where Alfred Mutua came from. And still reasoning yao ni kupeleka wa Kenya abroad instead of creating opportunities hapa Kenya. But tuendelee.
I tell people that I was in a house without a cement floor with wood sides until the age of 21 using a pit latrine in Nairobi, But I was very happy. My father is a comedian, and I would sit at home. I remember this. I sit at home at night, me and my sister and my parents, tukiote jiko ya makaa, and my father would crack jokes and would just basically roll on the floor laughing.
And so he returns here ever so often to encourage boys as young as he was once about such important basics, but most importantly, educating them about the importance of such virtues as honesty.
Hii nchi yetu imekuwa na shida nyingi kwa sababu ya ufisadi. Kwa hivyo nataka nyinyi mkue na tukatae watu wa ufisadi, si ndio?
Just like
Okay, umesikia, that is the advice he was giving kids. Mkatae ufisadi. You are seeing ufisadi nafanyika kwa hiyo recruitment drive yako hiyo ya kupeleka watu Qatar and other Arab countries. Watu wanakoniwa. And then you are blaming those same victims. Like, what's happening, Mr. Mutua, Mr. Cobra Squad, Mr. Government Spokesman, Mr. Najivunia kwa Mkenya? What are you doing? You know better. You know better. You're highly educated. You know better. Please do better. Please do better. That's all I can say. So if you like this video, ebu chapa like, subscribe, tuonane next time.